Tonight on News 5 Live, a deadly chopping incident in Sugar City following the Independence Day Carnival. A Belize City transplant is fatally stabbed outside of the Macal River Park in San Ignacio. And dissecting Independence Day speeches from the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
If you have a baby on the way, here is what you need to know about maternity benefit. It includes both an allowance for 14 weeks and a grant, which is a lump sum of $300. The basic requirements are: you must be employed, you must have at least 50 paid contributions, and you must have continuous contributions leading up to delivery. To apply, a licensed doctor certifies the expected date of delivery. The employer completes the salaries record. Submit your completed claim form as soon as possible. After giving birth, submit your continuation claim no later than 3 weeks after delivery. If the mother does not qualify, the father of the child may qualify for the maternity grant. Want to know more about maternity benefit or grant? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Belize Commercial Laundry and Linens is a new, automated, state-of-the-art and safety-engineered commercial laundry facility in Belize, offering a full array of top-quality laundry and linen services for Belize's healthcare and commercial sectors countrywide, including hotels, resorts, and restaurants. For more information on how we can serve you, contact us at telephone 227-3396 or info@belizelaundry.com.
Make it a September to remember when you celebrate and save with Samsung. Enjoy awesome prices on the A-Series and S-Series lineup, all backed up by a 1-year local warranty, only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers. The full lineup includes A03, A03 Core, A12, A13, A22, A23, A33, A52s, A53, S20FE, S21FE, S22, and S22 Ultra. Entry-level models start as low as $349. Shop for your Samsung Galaxy from authorized resellers, including Digi, Debari, Cellular World, Odette's Home Center, and Westrack, and enjoy 1-year local warranty with your purchase. Celebrate and save this September with a Samsung.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, September 22nd. I am Sabrina Daly. There were 3 murders reported since our break on Tuesday night. 2 of them occurred after the Independence Day festivities, and the victims in both cases were men from Belize City. We turn first to Orange Walk Town, where a carnival parade had also just ended and people were still gathered on the streets celebrating. But that did not deter the will of a machete-wielding man from carrying out his intention, which was also reportedly captured on surveillance cameras. The victim in this instance is Bernard Timmons, a resident of Neil Penn Road, who was chopped across the neck. News 5's Marian Ali went to Orange Walk for answers and filed this report.
43-year-old Bernard Timmons had just traveled from Belize City to Orange Walk Town to observe the carnival parade in that municipality. Sometime around 8:30 p.m., he reportedly got embroiled in a heated altercation with 2 men in front of this Asian store. All 3 individuals then left the premises. The pair walked ahead, while Timmons trailed behind at a distance. Timmons stopped at this location and was standing in this corner, just off the walkway on the Belize-Corozal Road, when someone came through the alley and chopped him across the neck with a machete. The blood-stained spot marks where the father of 4 fell. The police department's Director of Communications, ASP Fitzroy Yearwood, share what info they had gathered on the incident up to this morning.
The investigators are saying that they were briefed that a fight took place at that location where I told you on the Belize-Corozal Road, but it has nothing to do with the actual Orange Walk Carnival. This incident took place a little distance away from where the carnival event was being held, and this person had several injuries to his neck and succumbed to his injuries minutes after being transported to the Northern Regional.
Police are still gathering evidence and several persons have been detained for questioning. Meanwhile, Timmons' mother, Amelia Flowers, who lives in Orange Walk, told News 5 that he had called her earlier saying that he was in town.
He called me about around, I think exactly 2 o'clock. We left from here 1:45. When he called, he said, "Mom, where you at?" I tell her I am at home. I tell her, I said, but we just left through the gate for make we go get to a place for park. So he said, "Well, ma, I really don't know, but I don't know which part of park." So I tell her, I said, "Well, when we reach out there, I want to call you." But we couldn't call him again because the noise, so he never made answer his phone. All right, as the parade eased off and the crowd packed the street, yes, because the parade done. So we gone down by Nile, we reached by the Shell 1 stop. So when we reach, I said, "Travis, call your brother, say we're party there." So when he call straight to voicemail. He call straight to voicemail.
Flowers said she tried to call Timmons after the parade, but got no response. She said she never got to see her son.
I expect the girl to work. I expect that he will go home early because I hear when my brother come up But he not just no one listen. He could have me, well, when the brother said let's go, he could have me say, okay, breads, make we move out. And he could have me gone, why stay back? You want, he know I live here. If he is so intoxicated, call, he got with number or drive and come. At least for come rest the night and then go home this morning. I know me have a problem with that, but I wish. I say, God, I wish if I may only find my son and meet her. If I may meet her in that condition, he may come home with me. But I never did meet her.
The bereaved mother said Timmons, who had tried to reform his life, had asked her recently to care for his children.
Sometimes he'd put his hand on my head and say, Mommy, promise me that if anything should happen to me, just promise me that you will take care of my kids. I said, Bernard, I don't want to hear that. Because I don't want to hear nothing about it right now. You're strong. Just stop the drinking and focus on your family.
Flowers, whose birthday is next Monday, must now spend this time planning not a celebration of her life, but a funeral for her son. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
There was a murder in San Ignacio at around 7 p.m. on Wednesday. According to police, they received information of a male person seen on the ground with multiple stab wounds to the upper part of his body near the Macal River Park area. The individual, later identified as 29-year-old Matthew Smith, was rushed to the San Ignacio Community Hospital where he was pronounced dead. News 5's Paul Lopez visited San Ignacio today where he learned that the murder victim was an employee at the San Ignacio Santa Elena Town Council. Here's that report.
A 29-year-old San Ignacio Town Council employee was stabbed to death outside the Macal River Park in San Ignacio Town. Matthew Smith, a resident of Belize City, reportedly left the old capital after numerous run-ins with the law. His former housemate and friend, Jeffrey Tillett, told News 5 off-camera that Smith moved away from the city in search of a better life for himself.
All I could say, I don't know why, but I know the man I'm a fighter and I'm a strong man to take lick in their life. All kind of things, so I think the man may survive. But we watching the man, me don't go through a lot of stabbing and things. So this is not the first time in history. Well, the man set that me for help a family and thing and get out of this poverty and thing because then the man never got a good background or like family where could like help out the man like in a real kind of way. So the man have to do everything by himself. So sometimes media help the man to carry the man was there. Me, I think I helped me a lot So
Smith would later settle in San Ignacio. He was employed at the San Ignacio Santa Elena Town Council, where Mayor Earl Trapp gave him a job with the construction crew. Mayor Trapp says he had several conversations with Smith during his time at the council. He described the young man as a hard worker, but short-tempered.
Matthew Smith was hard-working. When he got into his work, he would work. But like many people, he had a little shortcoming. And I think he was too impatient and a little boisterous. I had warned him on several occasions about his behavior. But like I said, I'm not sure what transpired, if it was his fault or not. But I mean, it's not about trying to put anybody bad, but the thing is that he was very much too outspoken, boisterous, and impatient. My heart really goes out to his family because he told me he had 2 or 3 children, and he really needed a job. That's the reason why I went the extra mile to honestly keep him on the job. As, like I said, he had ups and downs, and I had to call him to the office on several occasions. But he was into his family, and yes, I'm sure his family will miss him.
Smith met his untimely demise during the town's Independence Day concert at the Macal River Park. According to police, Smith was involved in an altercation outside of the venue. ASP Fitzroy Yearwood linked that Independence Day incident to a prior altercation also involving Smith in San Ignacio Town.
We know that investigators so far uncovered that Matthew Smith was involved in a fight with a group of men at the Macau Park where there was a function being held after the parade. This fight is a two-pronged incident because these gentlemen were involved in another fight on the 20th of September at a dance that was being held at a venue in San Ignacio also. It is unfortunate that the rival group saw him at Macau Park and somebody else that was in his company, but they were involved with that fight on the 20th night. Mr. Smith received some fatal injuries, and since then we have detained several parties that were involved in both fights that we believe could shed some light on this incident.
According to Yearwood, there were in excess of 30 officers on duty at the event on Independence Day. Notwithstanding the number of officers, the magnitude of the crowd at the venue may have contributed to officers not seeing when the fight took place. In spite of the fatal stabbing, Mayor Trapp commended the officers who were on duty for their service to the town during the days of celebration.
I received a call about 7:30 from the superintendent of police here, informing me that there was an unfortunate incident where someone was stabbed and unfortunately succumbed to his injuries. He said he was at the hospital and the guy had passed away. You know, then we investigated and we later learned that it was one of our very own employees. Like I said, unfortunately, it happened outside, and something that honestly I had the night before or even yesterday during my speech, I commended the police department for doing an excellent job, of which they have done an excellent job during the celebrations, and I must take this time to really commend them for a job well done, because at the end of the day, it's not like we can eradicate crime. You know, things will happen, but they did an excellent job indeed.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
29-year-old Stephen Barrington Flowers, a resident of Majestic Alley, has been charged with aggravated burglary following an incident at the home of Basil Gordon on St. Thomas Street on Sunday. Flowers is accused of participating in a home invasion that netted thieves almost $4,000 in cash and several other personal items belonging to Gordon. Fats, as Flowers is otherwise known, appeared unrepresented before the lower court today, where he was read a single charge in connection with the break-in. In a statement given by Gordon, he was at a home on September 18th when 3 male persons entered the residence, including Flowers, who was armed with a handgun. The intruders demanded money and other belongings from Gordon and 2 other persons who were present at the time. Due to the nature of the offense, Flowers was informed by the senior magistrate that bail could not be granted until after 3 months. He has since been remanded to the Belize Central Prison until November 25, 2022. Carlos Jose Martinez, a Honduran national, has been living in Belize illegally for almost a year before he was caught by immigration officials earlier this week. According to Martinez, he fled his home country in October 2021 when he, along with his wife and daughter, was reportedly threatened by gang members. He is now seeking asylum in Belize, but immigration officials say that it is too late. Earlier today, he appeared before the magistrate's court where he was fined $1,000 to be paid forthwith before being issued a removal order to be repatriated to Honduras. Coming up, the Twin Towns in the West came alive on Independence Day. Details when we return.
Makeup Land makes flawless happen. With our wide selection in shades, we have the perfect match for you in brands you love. From Maybelline, Fit Me, Matte Poreless, Elf Cosmetics, Flawless Finish, to Wet n Wild Los Angeles Photo Focus. We have all the foundation that will keep you looking like a goddess. So make flawless happen and shop Makeup Land for all your beauty needs. Visit us at www.makeup-land.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Elsie Constanza. I'm a pediatrician and neonatologist. I work at the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at Carl Huschner Memorial Hospital Authority and at Northern Medical Specialty Plaza. Like other vaccines, few persons may present with reactions. Vaccines are safe. Get protected. Get vaccinated.
¿Qué es Amnistía 2022? Una oportunidad para los inmigrantes indocumentados que viven en Belice. Belice quiere ayudarte a vivir libremente y continuar contribuyendo a las comunidades que usted y su familia ahora llaman su hogar, al ofrecer un camino hacia la residencia permanente. ¿Por qué debería aplicar? Al hacerlo, elimina barreras y reduce las dificultades que enfrenta viviendo como inmigrante indocumentado. Aplicar es fácil. Visita el sitio web www.immigration.gov.bz para obtener más información. Puede verificar si califica, cómo presentar una solicitud, qué documentos necesita y cómo hacer una cita. Prepárate, el plazo de inscripción será del 2 de agosto al 30 de noviembre 2022. Amnistía de Belice 2022. Continuemos construyendo Belice juntos.
My name is James A. I attend Ephesus Seventh-day Adventist Primary School and I'm in Standard 4. One of the most important safety rules is to always keep your eyes on the road. The moment you take them off, you can be in danger of hitting another vehicle or a pedestrian. When you are driving in a car, motorcycle, or bicycle, you are not just responsible for yourself, but for the other drivers and pedestrians. If everyone obeys these rules, we can all be safe while traveling because every life counts.
We're so grateful when we got the news that he was the first place winner. We also were winners along with him because the school received as well a gift because of his effort in writing this essay. We are all in deficit. We have a lot of different issues. We know that parents could not afford school fees and things, so our school will then utilize it in various ways.
Thank you, BL, for giving me this opportunity to be part of the safety essay competition.
The 41st anniversary of Belize's independence was celebrated in grand fashion on Wednesday, with an official ceremony being held in Belmopan. It was full pomp and circumstance as the Prime Minister, government officials, and other dignitaries were in attendance. As is customary, we took a closer look at the speeches that were presented by Prime Minister Don Briceño and opposition leader Shine Barrow. News 5's Isani Catano reports.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Independence Day, Belize!
Belize at 41 is perhaps a ripe age for sober reflection. On the heels of a global pandemic that all but crippled our local economy, Belizeans are battle-tested and have demonstrated resolve in the face of a most challenging time in recent history. The Prime Minister's address on Independence Day spoke directly to that spirit.
Our resiliency is homegrown, not IFI imposed. When we look at the mirror at 41, Belizeans should see a country on the cusp of being able to feed itself, a goal so many of our peers yearned to attain at the peak of the COVID pandemic. Domestic production of various food staples has reached truly impressive levels. For example, in 2021, rice production was over 33 million pounds. Beans was over 20 million pounds. Corn was over 215 million pounds. Chicken was over 42 million pounds. Over 5 million dozen eggs. 16.5 million pounds of milk. The national cattle herd stood at 170,000 heads of cattle. And in citrus, it has been announced that our growers are getting the highest payment in more than 15 years.
But while the Briceño administration proudly beats its chest, touting a speedy recovery from the economic doldrums of COVID-19, the opposition is singing a different chorus. This year, a new party leader, almost 24 months since the United Democratic Party suffered a bitter defeat at the polls, addressed the gathering at Independence Plaza. What he painted was an image of gloom and despair.
In 2022, COVID-19 is gone, but we are faced with a new pandemic, that is the blue virus, spread by an administration that continues to strangle our economy with lack of investor confidence, with the highest gas prices ever, which causes the highest cost of living ever, giving no room for a treasured middle class to return, driving the working class further into poverty and impoverished to inhumane standards of living. This is not the promise of independence.
Notwithstanding that sharp observation made by the opposition, PM Briceño maintains that strong public policy led by his government continues to benefit all Belizeans. In his address, he also touched on the pending People's Constitution Commission.
Whether in the case of constant financial support, starting with capping the cost of fuel by reducing fuel taxes, subsidies for our cane farmers, further subsidies for our bus companies, tour operators, and bakers. Belize can be proud that our public policy makes creative accommodations for the common good, notwithstanding external pressures. Of course, a nation's life, its evolution, does not end at 41, and pride and confidence must, as I said earlier, be matched with resolve to address those facets of national development that remain unconquered. And it is this requisite resolve that has led to the launch of the People's Constitutional Commission, whose work shall commence shortly to consult far and wide to recommend constitutional changes that will enhance national unity and upliftment as well as good governance.
From a nationalist point of view, PM Briceño highlights the push by Belizeans for their voices to be heard on matters that affect the citizenry.
Belizeans can be proud that our constitution is unblemished in 41 years. 6 times since independence, there has been an orderly transition of power without violence or even the threat of violence. Just 2 weeks ago, a new Chief Justice was sworn in, and she will oversee an entirely independent judiciary, free of political control or interference. The Belizean public square, buttressed by myriad freedoms and a vibrant, independent press corps, is more lively and more animated than ever. In just the last few months, 2 unrelated national petitions have attracted tens of thousands of individual signatures. This is but one example of Belizean democracy in action. There are ample reasons for national pride and national confidence. All of this is in partial fulfillment of Plan Belize.
The peaceful, constructive Belizean revolution, famously described by the father of the nation, was, according to Cheyenne Barrow, a vow that was never honored by his party.
The revolution that was promised at the arrival of this current government never materialized. It has quickly revealed itself as nothing more than a sham, a continuation of the vicious cycle of poverty, economic and political dependency that we have suffered the last 41 years. We have gone from British colonialism to neo-colonialism, administered by political masters who treat the electorate with the exact disdain dispensed by those colonial powers from their grand palaces in England.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
In San Ignacio, politics was put aside on Independence Day. Mayor Earl Trapp and Belmopan Mayor Sharon Palacio joined each other on stage to dance to a punta song, much to the delight of onlookers. When we caught up with Mayor Trapp today in San Ignacio, we asked him about that moment and the overall outcome of the September celebrations in the Twin Towns. Here's what he told us.
I always, regardless of the season that we are in, I always look at things on the same level. I don't see colors. I work with just about everybody. But this September celebrations was special. It is special for us because it is our independence. And at the time of independence, we are one people. We are Belize, we are one people. And we should work together. And I've always made it open to my colleagues, invite them here or they invite me and we go and we mingle, we have a good time. But yes, it was a concert that we had with Lover Boy at the Welcome Center, and I gave her that invitation. She came out and we were on stage basically supporting the artists, and he came and dragged me out. I honestly didn't want it to do that, but again, it's always important to mingle with your people, and you know what? Show your people that you are on the same level like them. We are not bigger than them. We are one people and we are supposed to enjoy together. And I saw that yesterday during our parade, where many of our residents here in San Ignacio and even people that visited us from outside our district, they said, Mayor, I want you to come on stage with us later. I want to punta with you. But I mean, it just happened.
As the speeches by the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition were being delivered, across the 9 municipalities, Independence Day parades were being held. In Belize City, thousands of high schoolers put on their best uniforms and gathered at Memorial Park before walking through the principal streets of the old capital and ending at the Yabra Green. It is a staple of the September celebrations, where parents and other members of the community stand on the sidelines cheering on their children as they participate in the parade. Here are highlights from the Belize City Parade captured by our team here at News 5. you have been monitoring the weather reports over the past few days, you would notice that there is quite a bit of activity in the Atlantic. While Hurricane Fiona is in a north-northeast trajectory to the U.S., Belize's National Met Service has been monitoring a low-pressure system that has formed in the southeastern Caribbean Sea. It is expected to continue on a west-northwestward path, and there is a 90% probability that it will develop further. Today, Chief Meteorologist Ronald Gordon shares the details that they have at this time.
The system has a high chance of becoming a tropical depression within the next 2 to 5 days as it moves generally to the west-northwest across the eastern Caribbean Sea and enters the central Caribbean Sea. Currently, the system is disorganized as there is strong upper-level winds over it at the moment, preventing it from becoming organized and developing. Those upper-level winds are causing what we call high wind shear, basically disrupting the thunderstorms from forming a closed circulation. However, all indications are that the wind shear is going to weaken as the system enters the central Caribbean Sea, and therefore it will have a better chance of becoming a tropical depression, as I mentioned previously. Now, in terms of the track, it is moving to the west-northwest. Eventually, will move a bit more to the west. And then the forecast becomes quite divergent in about 3 or 4 days after it enters the Northwest Caribbean Sea. Some of the models take the system towards the northern Yucatan Peninsula, north of Belize, by the way, while others take it farther away from the country towards the western tip of Cuba. Therefore, given that there's a widespread in these models, it indicates that there's a high level of uncertainty at the moment. And the reason for this is because you don't have a closed circulation, you don't have a loop for the models to track. After the system has developed and become a tropical depression, we will have more confidence of where it will go because the models will be able to track it better.
After the break, 7 farms in Blue Creek and 1 in Shipyard are under quarantine for bird flu. We'll have that and more when we come back.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RFNG Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RFNG Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RFNG Insurance, a Road Group company.
So here we have 2 households, 2 kids doing what kids do, and 2 loads of stained covered laundry. One uses regular detergent, but only Fab has tough stain lifting power.
Wait, really? That's right. To get rid of all types of stains, use Fab. Adding Fab laundry detergent to the wash not only fights the toughest stains, but the colors won't fade. And Fab leaves clothes smelling fantastic. So pass it on.
Because your family deserves the best in laundry care. Fab, taking care of your laundry so you can take care of your family. Find it at your nearest store. Exclusively distributed by Big Limited.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Valiant and bold, proud we are strong. Belize we rebound at age 41. Belize we are free and independent. We're free and independent. Free and independent to be whatever you wanna be. Free and independent. We're free and independent. Free and independent. We're changing our country. We're free. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire Smart family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebrations. Smart, bringing people together.
Good evening, Belize. From the National Meteorological Service, with tonight's weather report and forecast, I am Ronald Gordon. After a rather pleasant Independence Day weekend, most of you awoke this morning to some showers, thunderstorms, and periods of rain. Activity started in the southern parts of the country over the Toledo district and gradually moved north during the morning. By mid-morning, conditions began to clear up over most part, with sunshine returning by in the afternoon. However, some cloudiness persisted over the northwestern portions of the country, as can be seen here on satellite imagery. So what can we expect for tonight? The southern parts of the country, Dangriga, Placencia, and Punta Gorda, will see a few more showers and thunderstorms late tonight into early tomorrow morning, while lighter showers will affect Belize City, San Pedro, and Corozal Town. In the west, we expect cloudiness tonight, but with limited shower activity. In terms of our temperatures, the cool spots will be Belmopan with about 73 degrees Fahrenheit, San Ignacio at 72, Orange Rock at 73, and Corozal at 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Moving closer to the coast, we expect highs of about, those are lows of about 78 Fahrenheit in Belize City, 79 in San Pedro, and 77 in Dangriga, with cooler conditions over the southern municipalities. Our forecast for tomorrow calls for a few showers and thunderstorms early in the morning over the southern parts of the country, including Dangriga, Placencia, and Punta Gorda. However, up north, you will see lighter showers in Belize City and San Pedro, also Corozal, but with limited shower activity out west in Belmopan and San Ignacio. Those temperatures for tomorrow, we're looking at highs of about 93 Fahrenheit in the capital city, 94 in San Ignacio, closer to the coast, 88 in Belize City, and at about 86 degrees Fahrenheit in San Pedro. Looking at the next 4 days, well, for Friday, we're going to see a few showers and thunderstorms in the morning, clearing up by afternoon, and returning tomorrow night. Those will persist into Saturday morning, but by Saturday night, we expect better weather conditions through to Sunday. There will be an increase in showers heading towards the new work week as the tropical system approaches us. And as we speak of that tropical system, we can take now a look at the tropics. We are looking at clear and bright conditions across the Gulf of Mexico and the northwestern Caribbean Sea. However, looking further north, you can see powerful Hurricane Fiona moving off to the north-northeast and expected to affect the island of Bermuda. Further south over the eastern Caribbean Sea, this area of thunderstorms, disorganized at the moment, is associated with an area of low pressure that is expected to gradually develop as it moves west-northwestward across the Caribbean Sea and eventually recurve to the northwest. The important thing to note here is that there are several different models predicting different paths for the system. Some of the models take it as far south as over the Yucatan Peninsula, while there are others recurving it more towards Cuba. So the important thing for residents to take into consideration is that we need to monitor the system very closely as it approaches us. If there's an impact on Belize from this system, it will not be until about Monday or Tuesday of next week. Taking a look now at our marine conditions, we expect light winds out of the west-northwest, and tonight shifting more to the east-northeast tomorrow with waves of 1 to 3 feet, producing only slight sea conditions. Our astronomical conditions, there will be a low tide at 6 minutes past 2 tomorrow morning, a high tide at 8:12 tomorrow morning also, and a low again at 3:13 tomorrow evening, and a high at a minute after 9 tomorrow night. If you want to catch that sunrise, sure to be out there at 5:41 tomorrow morning, and sunset is at 5:47 tomorrow evening. The moon will rise at 3:43 early tomorrow morning and set at about 4:42 tomorrow evening. And that's it, folks, from the National Meteorological Service. I am Ronald Gordon. Join us again on Friday for another weather report and forecast. Have a pleasant and restful evening.
To my life, your house whenever. We ain't gonna live forever. We just wanna live while we're alive. Go to my life. My heart is open like a highway. Please and say I did it my way. We just wanna live while we're alive. To my lights.
Today, the Ministry of Agriculture held a press conference to provide an update on the avian influenza that was detected in chicken farms up north in Orange Walk. CEO Servilo Baiza began by prefacing that it was not the virus, but antibodies of a bird flu that was discovered in several samples taken from farms in Blue Creek and Shipyard. This means that the birds had recovered from the virus, and early indications are that the virus is mild and the mortality rate is low. The officials also shared that massive surveillance indicates that 8 farms were affected, 2 have been depopulated, and 6 remain under quarantine. Director of Animal Health at the Belize Agricultural Health Authority, Dr. Miguel De Paz, breaks down what has happened so far.
We have 8 farms that have been diagnosed with the antibodies, and we have those farms under quarantine. The first 2 farms we did depopulate, so there are 6 more farms under quarantine. And having a clearer picture now, we have actually modified the strategy, Baja along with BPA, the Belize Poultry Association, and the Ministry of Agriculture. We are modifying the strategy now that we know it's pointing towards low pathogenicity of the virus. So, and there are other measures. I did mention movement control. There will be disinfection of the hatchery, cleaning and disinfection of those positive barns. If you want to move birds, you need a permit from Baja. For us to issue those permits, the birds would have had to test negative for avian influenza. So we are giving the public lots of assurance that that we will have this disease under control, and that the poultry and poultry products are safe for human consumption.
So what will happen with these farms? So far, over 28,000 birds have been killed. Manager of the Belize Poultry Association, Armando Coos, says that a proposal has been issued to the Ministry of Agriculture and Baja on a way forward.
On that proposal, it calls for the hatchery in Blue Creek being totally shut down and disinfected for 1 week. If we go that route, then that will have repercussions down the cycle of the production of poultry products for Belize. We'll be looking at a downtime further in November, because a shutdown in 1 week will reverberate way into November. Because even though it's a week, and some people might be wondering, well, it's a week, but yeah, it's a week with no hatchlings being put out by the hatchery. And therefore, farmers in the production cycle will be set back. And we also need to understand that the barns that should have been receiving those chicks will be set back. One of the other decisions that we have made yesterday was to have all the barns being cleaned out and disinfected. We are hoping that by the 1st of December, this will be all over. All our barns will have been disinfected and decontaminated, together with the hatchery, together with all the other equipment involved, all the trucks that move around, all the equipment that move the feed, everything. We're hoping that there will be a general cleanup in that area, and therefore we're asking the public to bear with us.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness, which sits on the task force that has been put together to address the issue, confirmed today that the virus cannot be transmitted to humans and that the chickens is safe for consumption. Principal Public Health Inspector John Bowden explains.
The infection that we are seeing currently in the poultry flock is one of past infection. So there is no risk, at least currently, unless otherwise proven by testing that there is circulation of the virus within the flock itself. And that's when it becomes a risk to the people who actually deal with poultry. Secondly, the virus cannot be transmitted to humans currently. From what we're seeing, of course, we see that the mortality rate is not high, and obviously, again, through diagnosis, we would know if the pathogenicity of that virus is really there and lends to spread. And the meat, as I know many people might have concern about, there is no risk of eating the meat, providing that it is cooked thoroughly. So from a public health perspective, it lingers solely in terms of the birds itself, and the risk for spread will only be known until we could do the genetic sequencing to know what type of virus we're dealing with. Is it very pathogenic or not? And so as we look at the outbreak unfolding, what is imperative to advise the public, especially those people who might be in touch with or in contact with the birds, is that it's an influenza, just like any other influenza, whereby people would show signs of having basic flu-like symptoms. And we would advise people, if they are concerned about that, we do have influenza virus that we could offer, which serves as a level of protection for the poultry workers. So far, none of the poultry worker has indicated that there is any infection that has been transmitted to them, and we continue to monitor the situation.
On Tuesday, the Belize Poultry Association and other stakeholders in the agriculture industry met and several decisions were made. Chief among those was that the plant in Blue Creek will be shut down for 3 weeks in November. While Belize Poultry Association manager Armando Coo says that the producer in Spanish Lookout has the capacity to supply the market demand and there will be no shortage. There are implications to the market and the economy. Between the two farms that have been depopulated, there is already $500,000 in direct and indirect losses.
Regards to the economic losses, there are huge economic losses being incurred as we speak. Some of it is visible and some of it is invisible because there are direct losses to the farmer. For example, those 28,000 broilers that were slaughtered, right? If you were to calculate the value of those birds, only in direct costs, only looking at the value of the bird in direct costs, all right? Well, already jumping $250,000 or more. And if you look at the total indirect costs associated with it, we are looking at already above $500,000 in losses. And that's just two barns. We're not looking at the whole industry in subsector in Blue Creek as yet. With regards to the layers, again, that's another $200,000 down the drain as we speak. We have to look at the effect it also has on the brand of the company that is sustaining the losses. The production will be affected, and we have to face that reality. How much, at the moment, we're trying to gauge that We're trying, it's not an exact thing, but we're trying to gauge exactly how it will be affected. But we do know that the community of Spanish lookout does have the capacity to cover as much as possible of that shortfall that will be facing the Blue Creek Caribbean Chicken Company. So right off the bat, I can tell you that yes, there will be a shortage in November. As to the prices, we don't know, because the driver of the prices is not the disease, you know. There are many other factors that drive the prices. Right now, farmers are harvesting their grains, or most of them will start harvesting their grains. The price of those grains is the driver for the price of chicken. Let's face it, we can't run away from that. So if there will be a price increase, it will not be associated with the avian flu. That loss will be absorbed by the industry, as was done in 2015.
When we return, a second cohort of public officers complete digital transformation training.
We are Belizean travelers. Are you? Deserve a fast, dependable, high-quality internet service in your homes for online, virtual classes, and to work from home. It's the new way of life. Diginet is the #1 fiber service that is powering Belize's digital transformation. And now, this reliable fiber service is even more affordable with our new entry plan. For a limited time only, you and your family can enjoy 20 megabits per second of fiber service to your home for only $49 monthly. No more missed classes and interrupted meetings. It's costing you time and money. Diginet is better than cable and better than wireless. Visit a Digistore today to sign up for the best home internet service in Belize. Come see what you've been missing. Same high quality, fast, and reliable fiber service, now at an even lower price. For more information, visit livedigi.com/Diginet. Digi, our national telecom.
What is Amnesty 2022? An opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Public officers are leading the way towards digital transformation within the public sector. Today, an award ceremony was held for the second cohort of the digital transformation in Belize course. These public officers were engaged in the training for the past 4 weeks. It focused on equipping them with the necessary tools to understand and identify the priority areas of digital transformation across the sectors. Here's a brief look at today's ceremony in Belmopan.
With the continuous support of the UNDP team and the Ministry of the Public Service, we continue to support public officers from all agencies to build capacity and form a new wave of digital ambassadors. As I had mentioned at the course launch, digital transformation requires reimagining the digital platform and our culture if we're to adapt to competitive pressures, evolving customer needs, and times of crisis. But how can we get there? Change can only come after we have done an honest reflection of where we are and where we aspire to be in the future. This is where the importance of collecting and analyzing data comes into play.
This and the 2 or possibly 3, because I know we planned 3 cohorts and Ms. Peralta is ever looking to push the envelope, is suggesting 4, are exposed to not simply our ad hoc activities, but are part of a wider plan to meet the goal of transforming the access to services and enhancing livelihoods necessary, and if you don't mind me saying this, borrowing a phrase, for a valiant and bold, vibrant and strong Belize rebounding on its 41st anniversary of independence. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted how digital connectivity is fast becoming the global metric of inclusion and exclusion, for that matter, with 2.9 billion people still offline. UNDP aims to get ahead of the ever-evolving digital reality, equipped with the knowledge and tools to assist our partners.
The Belize Bus Association appeared on the news last week to raise concerns they have with the current public transportation revamping and the demands that the Department of Transport is placing at their feet to upgrade their fleet of buses as well as the service they provide to Belizean commuters. The BBA has questions over the ownership and investment of its fiercest competitor in the industry, the proprietors of Floralia Bus Line, which has been providing superior service between Belize City and Punta Gorda. But there was a case pending before the courts over that same run, and a ruling was made on Independence Eve. Today on Open Your Eyes, Secretary of the BBA, Ewart Metzkin, shared the details with us, after which President of the Association, Thomas Shaw, explained why they had an issue over the southern runs.
On the 20th September, around the 5:36, the lawyer that represents us, Burrow and Williams, one of the attorneys from the office, called me and told me that the court had ruled in our favor against the case we had, Brian Williams, James Bus Line against DOT and Floralia. We were granted judicial review.
Okay.
So with our case put forward, with all the evidence we presented to the lawyer, and the lawyer put them together and presented them to the court. the court saw whereby there were some improprieties in the way how Floralia was inserted into the industry, so hence the granting of the judicial review.
The runs that they are doing presently were being serviced by one of our members.
Which is the James Bus Line.
James Bus Line.
And Brian Williams.
And Brian Williams, okay? So that was one of our contention, and as we always state that whenever you're going to do if the board is going to issue a permit, you do your due diligence and you have to make sure that it's not going to impact an existing operator. If it's going to impact an existing operator, then that should be null and void. But they came in and the board stated that they gave a presentation and it blew their mind. So based on that, they issued a permit. But you have a thing you call cause and effect. You have sowing and reaping. So what you sow, you reap. The thing is that because of you giving Floralia these run, you have one of my operator maybe cannot meet his payment at the end of the month. We at the BVA, we thought we see where it was unfair. So with that, our members, we got together, we held a meeting, and this is how this case actually came about.
Floralia has been giving consideration to also conduct runs in the north and west of the country, which the BBA officer says they will also challenge should Floralia get runs that compromise their members' economic stability. At the center of the conflict is the Minister of Transport, Rodwell Ferguson, who has been giving the bus operators a listening ear and creating an audience with the management of the National Bank and the bus operators, but also putting down his foot in giving them a deadline to get with the program. The BBA President, Thomas Shaw, had a fundamental concern with the management of Floralia Bus Line and directed that concern straight to them.
If you stated that you didn't have no interest in getting into bringing more runs into the country, why is it you want to go to the west? Why is it you want to go to the north? You even mentioned to me that Mr. Shaw have checked all the time slots. And to be honest, every slot that I look at is being taken by another operator. Now, if you had a vision for this industry and you had any kind of conscience and empathy towards the existing operators, you'd have consulted with us, knowing that there's an association. You didn't came to us. Whosoever you went to, or whosoever set you up, because I think you're being set up. Because there's no way you can make it in this industry unless you're willing to buy out everybody and we pull aside.
Just ahead, a biography of Philip Golson, a Belizean hero.
V-Bucks by Benny's, Belize's newest multi-brand rewards program. To access V-Bucks, download the mobile app or access the website portal at vbucks.bz and set up your account. If you already have a Benny's account, chances are you already have V-Bucks. Don't let them go to waste. To earn V-Bucks, make a purchase at any Benny's location or at any of these Benny's entities, namely Island Freight Forwarders, Best Manufacturing, Benquip, and B-Mart. Once V-Bucks are earned, reward yourself. Use V-Bucks to buy items or exchange for cash. You can also double, triple, or even quadruple your V-Bucks on promotional days. It is simple. Purchase, earn, redeem. Loyalty is always rewarding with V-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, It means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Everything must come to an end. A much needed vacation, or even a good book. What about the world? How will it end? Should we be worried about the end? Frightened even? What does the Bible actually say about the end? Tune in right here as we discuss the end.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Valiant and bold, proud we are strong. Belize we rebound at age 41. Belize we are free and independent. We're free and independent. Free and independent to be whatever you wanna be. Free and independent. We're free and independent. Free and independent. We're changing our country. We're free. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire Smart family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebrations. Smart, bringing people together.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great
Messi!
entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Hello eCash user, the eCash app is now available in Spanish. Changing the language in your eCash app from English to Spanish is quick and easy. Let me walk you through the steps. First, open your eCash app. Enter your PIN. Tap the More icon at the bottom of your screen. Choose Security. Select Language. Tap on Spanish. Then re-enter your PIN. And that's it! Your eCash app is now in Spanish, and you can continue to enjoy your eCash digital wallet. Belize Bank's eCash app makes life easier.
Today at the House of Culture in Belize City, a book that chronicles the life of one of Belize's national heroes was officially launched. Commissioned back in 2016 by the National Institute of Culture and History, the publication is entitled The Time to Save Your Country, Philip S.W. Golson, Biography of a National Hero. Its author is career librarian Lawrence Vernon, who used newspaper articles and testimonials from people who knew Golson to capture his essence within the pages of the new book. A News 5 reporter and cameraman team joined officials as well as family and friends of Golson at today's launch, and Dwayne Moody files this report.
There's a new publication available that gives you a look into one of two of Belize's national heroes, Philip Golson. The reader-friendly book, A Biography of Golson, captures real-life events that form part of Belizean history. Well-known librarian Lawrence Vernon, who is this year's Z. Edgell Belize at 41 awardee, took on the assignment back in 2016. During his research, Vernon unearthed several things that many did not know.
He was the first and only politician who went to jail for his beliefs. It was way back in 1952. And then he was aligned to at least 4 political parties during his career, starting with the PUP, the National Independence Party, the the UDP, and of course NEBA, National Alliance for Belizean Rights. And then he was the first Belizean to make a speech to the United Nations, the first politician in 1967. Some people thought it was George Price, but George Price didn't make a speech to the UN until 1975. He was a great proponent of the Guatemalan claim to Belize, right? He stood up for that quite a lot in demonstrations and picketing, so that at times he was even arrested again for holding demonstrations through the streets of Belize.
The National Institute of Culture and History, through its Institute for Social and Cultural Research, commissioned the book. Patriotically, the launch is timely, and the Minister of Culture and Chair of the National Celebrations Commission, Francis Fonseca, shares how critically important Golson was to the democracy Belize enjoys at this time.
In my view, it is the most fitting title for a book about a man whose life was dedicated to the service of his people and the preservation of his country. Golson was a patriot and Belizean nationalist in the true sense of those words. Golson never seemed interested in political power, except insofar as it would afford him the opportunity to advance the fundamental goals and principles which guided his life: service to country and people, and territorial integrity. Belize has 2 formally designated national heroes, George Price and Philip Golson. And I suspect that that will remain the case for a very long time. And in my view, that is how it should be.
In attendance were several relatives and friends of Golson himself. Adrian Golson, one of his sons who lives in the U.S., gave remarks on behalf of the family. He says that the book shares a perspective of his dad that he never knew growing up.
The idea of the book being a window into the life of someone, and from a point of view where I did not see that growing up. And as the years develop, recognize and still continue to recognize it. As far as my dad, too much I'm learning. I learned so much even today. I'm continuing to learn with every video that I watch, things that he's read, and what others have said about him. I know that he planted so many seeds in so many areas. It's just a vast road to cover. What I do know is that I feel that passion. One of the things he said once in a video I watched is this appeal to Belizeans living abroad, that, you know, we should see them as citizens, full citizens, and welcome them back.
The book retails at $30 and is expected to be used by tertiary level institutions. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.